Good morning. It's Friday morning. We're on Psalm 50 today, and I'm going to read from Psalm 50, verses 7 through 15, so you can look at that and look at the other parts later today. Hear, my people, and I will speak. Israel, I will testify against you. I am God, your God. Not for your sacrifices do I rebuke you. Your burnt offerings are continually before me. I will not accept a bull from your house or goats from your fold. For every beast of the forest is mine, the cattle on 1,000 hills. I know all the birds of the hills, and all that moves in the field is mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell you, for the world and its fullness are mine. Do I eat the flesh of bulls and drink the blood of goats? Offer to God a sacrifice of thanksgiving, and perform your vows to the Most High, and call on me in a day of trouble. I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. So, in ancient Israel, they had a system of sacrifices. The thinking was that the slaughtering an animal in ritual way in the temple would bring about the forgiveness of sins. And that was something that everyone was required to do. And so people would go to Jerusalem and take their small animal and give it to the priest as their offering, and the priest would sacrifice it, and then their sins would be forgiven. And all of this was laid out by Moses in the law, and it was this is what God told him to do. So this comes from God. This is the law. This is what we have to do. Everybody does it, right? And it was more complicated than what I've just described. There were some other things that happened and some other details of it, but that's the outline, the basic outline. And then in the prophets and the Psalms, God continually says, I don't want your offerings. You know, the offering that matters to me is a contrite heart, it says somewhere else. The thing that I want to see is obedient people, not people who show up, once a year with their bird for the sacrifice, but people who honor me with praise and thanksgiving, and who treat each other with love and humility every day, not just once or twice a year. And that's the rub, because God wants to see people who live in a certain way, not people who will sort of mechanically obey the minimum of what the law requires. And so God wants to see a more sustained and a more devotional sort of obedience to him, rather than this kind of mechanical obedience to his teachings, to the law. So if we're going to do that, what is that for Christians? That means, a sacrifice of thanksgiving. That's the way that most Protestants, a lot of Protestants, understand the sacrifice understand the Eucharist. It's not really a sacrifice of Jesus. It's a sacrifice of thanksgiving to God for the work of Jesus on the cross. And so we have that sacrifice, and we recognize, remember, and honor that at the table. Now, sometimes there are various other ways to understand it, and other churches do understand it in different ways, but our particular tradition says in the various prayers that we use that accept our sacrifice of thanksgiving, O God. And we talk about what Jesus did, but it's from us, it's thanksgiving to God for this mysterious salvation that Jesus has brought us. So I want you to think about that today, and offer God thanksgiving for the love and the grace that he pours out upon us all the time, and for the ways that he sustains us, no matter how our piety and our devotion actually works out. Have a great day. We will see you tomorrow.